Sandra, this is beyond a trend, isn't it? People really want an experience.
Absolutely. This is something that is here to stay. Food is so much part of people's lives. You know, you mentioned the stats of the visitor spend on food and drink. I think we have to remember there's 14 million visitors to Scotland, and every one of them will eat and drink because we have to.
Yeah.
And I think the stats are something like 92% of visitors to Scotland will go to a restaurant, a cafe, some sort of food experience, a bar. I assume the other 8%, perhaps just
on a diet.
Go or go to a supermarket, and hopefully there they will also be buying Scottish food. So yes, it's absolutely here to stay. I think that Scots are kind of naturally self-deprecating, and we need to get over ourselves in that respect. There's some very, very simple things that you can do if you take a look at your menu and just have a long, hard look at it and say, what am I selling here? And if you have a very sort of simple explanation against a dish, can you name the supplier? Is there a story there? Where did that recipe come from? Where is the origin of that food? Let's look at the provenance and let's shout about it. That we really need to shout about these things, and we haven't been doing that. Carina does it very well, and it's quite challenging, I think, to some businesses to do that. But it's a simple steps of
simple step.
Look at your suppliers. Where does your food come from? Get help from your suppliers. Your suppliers are absolutely amazing. It's all about collaboration and talking to people. What help can you give me? Can you let me know where was my fish landed? Tell me the story of that so that I can put that on my menu.
So you don't necessarily need to be doing anything particularly different. It's just how you convey what you're already doing to your visitors. Maybe some little tweaks, just bringing to life that what's on the plate a little bit more. Carina, obviously that's something that's very important to you. You're not just writing about it. You are physically showing ingredients to your visitors.
When we started, we thought actually buying Scottish would be more expensive, but if you actually, case in point, halibut is one of the most expensive fish that you can buy. But if you're buying halibut in season, it can actually be cheaper than cod. It's understanding the seasonality of what we're growing. And I'm amazed. You go into a supermarket and they've still got Scottish strawberries just now, and they're the same price that the Scottish strawberries were in June when it was sort of peak season. But they're using heated polytunnels, and actually the flavour isn't there. We've got to connect with the seasonality. And if we connect with the seasonality, we'll actually be able to use brilliant ingredients that are actually quite cheap.
Yes.
And then you can invest in your team. And if you've invested in your team, then your team can then invest in the customer journey. They can spend more time, they can share the story of where the mussels have come from, or share the story of where the honey's come from.
Give us an example of how you sort of sell one of your products and tell the story and the history and the culture.
Well, this is Victor's Your Good Honey. We have a 1-acre kitchen garden where we grow our produce for our restaurants. Bryony's our gardener at the moment. She's doing a fantastic job. Victor's in the garden this morning with Bryony because the leaf damage because of the winds is horrendous. That's actually another amazing journey for us, because by growing your own produce, you understand how much luck's involved in nature, how much time, effort is involved, and how little or abundant harvests can be, and it makes you appreciate what's coming out of the ground, which is that's been an incredible journey for us. So we have 6 hives, 2 at the Gallery of Modern Art and 4 in the garden, and the quality of the honey this year is absolutely exceptional. It is just beautiful. So we've always had the comb honey, so in each of the restaurants you'll see the combs, frames coming out of the hive. We use that, we use it in burrata, we use it on our cheese board, we'll use it with some of our desserts. So the team are actually seeing the comb, the actual comb that comes out of the hive, and they'll see how nature has created this product, and then obviously we're spinning it, we're taking it out and then jarring it, and so the team get to taste it. We'll use it specifically. So this product we will use specifically in its container. Because if we decant that into another dish or onto a plate, sometimes it's lost and you don't have the time to explain the story. But today, table one, a lovely gentleman comes in for his porridge, and he had porridge, I can't remember what it was, berry porridge, but we give him the jar of honey on the table with the honey dipper, so he can see that. So the team will say, this is Victor's honey.
And it all connects through.
And it all connects through.
That's fantastic.
So you need some props. I think props are really important, you know.
Yeah. And
props,
it's labelling and telling the story at every stage of the
and the
food's
props
journey.
give the team the confidence to engage.
Yes.
Without this, it's almost like, you know, I suppose they're on stage, they're acting. You know, they need something to help them articulate.
Yes, it does help. Yes.
I think food is often much more a product of the people and the place. It's a joining of the two. One of my favourite stories is of Barry Graham, who's a cheesemaker down in Dumfries and Galloway at Loch Arthur. And he creates this amazing cheddar cheese. And when he started making it, what was really important in his community was the lunch break. And when he put the rennet into the cheese, there was a certain amount of time that you needed to leave the rennet before you then strained off the curds and made your cheese. But that time hit right in the middle of his lunch. But he said, do you know what I'm going to do? We're just going to leave him a bit longer so we can finish our lunch.
Right.
And then they made this cheese. Now, it went against all of what the cheese cheddar making ideals would be. But he created a unique story that was just a product of what he wanted to do. So it was a product of the people.
His lifestyle.
Yeah, and it was a product of the people and the people who were making it, which was really important. One of my favourite ones, and it kind of resonates with the Scottish experience, is this restaurant called El Cano in San Sebastian. And they're just along the coast from San Sebastian, a tiny little village. And what they do is they've become experts in one thing. They've become experts in grilling fish. You may have seen Thomas Parry at Brat in London. He's sort of doing some amazing things. He was inspired by this restaurant. They've been going for 30 odd years. And what they do is they take turbot from the Bay of Biscay. And the Bay of Biscay is one of the most rich oceans around because the water comes up from deep into the Bay of Biscay. And you catch the best fish there is. And all they do is they grill it on coals, on the street, with lemon and olive oil. And that's all you get. That's their restaurant. They've become experts in one thing. And I think that's often what we could learn from other businesses. If you can keep it simple, take the ingredients that we've got, and we know they're the best ingredients in the world. They get shipped off and
That's part of the problem,
to
isn't it?
Spain.
Yeah.
When I worked in Spain, I was cooking Scottish langoustines and mussels for, it was about 170 euro a kilo for our langoustines. Can you imagine if you got some langoustines, grill them over some peat embers, put them into a vat with a bit of wild garlic mayonnaise.
Lunchtime's coming.
Simple stuff. So these are interesting things I think we can learn.